Jump Force, marketed as one of the most unique crossover events for the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine's 50th anniversary, the game centers around 16 different manga worlds colliding into the real world. Does this game fulfill every Weekly Shonen Jump fan's dream of seeing all these series cross over and fight it out? Or does it fail to deliver something as iconic as the series this game brings together? Let's jump in and find out. When you start up the game, you're immediately thrust into the story, setting up the circumstances as to why your avatar character exists in the first place. The avatar system is surprisingly robust, boasting a variety of clothing and hairstyles from series represented in the game, as well as those which didn't make the cut. The attention to detail makes it easy to create any character you want, while not on the level of Soul Calibur 6, can give you an outcome that you can probably be happy with. The skills and clothing is limited at the start of the game, but you can purchase both with in-game currency, not microtransactions mind you, as well as earning them through missions. If you are having trouble earning enough gold to earn the item or ability you want, the system makes it a lot easier to earn what you want faster. One other nice feature about the avatar system is that you can create up to 6 avatars at any point in the game, and your progress will not be lost, meaning all the items, clothing, and story progress you've made so far will be there across all of your avatars. One glaring issue with the avatar system currently is that there are a limited number of character combos you can utilize, as you can only equip Goku, Luffy, or Naruto's base combos to the avatar you create. Alongside that, there are some characters like Ryo, Jotaro, and Dio whose special moves are completely left out of the avatar system. The game's settings and content seem to be revolved around its story mode, but the story mode itself seems to have been rushed. While there are a handful of cutscenes that are beautiful to watch and clearly pushing the PS4 and Xbox One's hardware to their limits, the majority of the cutscenes are left with emotionless and still characters. The animation looking as if it had been done by someone who hadn't ever properly animated 3D models before being hired to work on this AAA game, it just leaves a lot to be desired. The animation isn't the only problem with the cutscenes, the majority of them don't even have voiced lines. In a game that is supposedly one of Bandai Namco's biggest games of the year, you'd expect there to be a little more care and polish to be placed in these cutscenes. But it is hard to take some of the situations seriously when you have a fully voiced cutscene and then Ryuk decides to talk. When he speaks, there is no voice.
Ryuk, 本当か?
The story itself is composed of 9 chapters, which in turn has a lot of missions. These missions all play out the same way, which should be expected, as the core mechanic of the game is a 1v1 team of 3 fighters, but leave much to be desired when the first half of the story mode is mainly comprised of taking down dark versions of the hero characters. It also doesn't help that these missions at the start of the game end almost exactly the same way each time and take about 5 hours of game time. While the first half of the story mode may be a drag, and I imagine probably would lose most of its audience to the online and mission modes, the second half of the story makes up for the sluggish and poorly presented first half. Once you reach Chapter 6, the plot starts to steamroll and the cutscenes get exponentially better in terms of quality. It is clear that Spike chose to focus on the latter half of the story mode to finish strong, rather than keep the quality generally consistent throughout. I don't necessarily feel this was the greatest choice, as the majority of the audience who would have been interested in the story mode was probably turned off by the end of Chapter 3. One character that the story handles extremely well is Light Yagami, a character that could so easily have been out of character in the wrong hands, but was handled in a clever way that teases the audience at a potential sequel or story updates through DLC.
そんなこともわからないのかリュウク世界をより良くするために決まっているじゃないか
The main feature that mostly everyone is going to be getting the game for is the battle mode and the characters. The roster of characters boasts 40 playable characters spanning from 15 different manga series, 16 if you separate Boruto from the original Naruto franchise. If you are a big fan of the series Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Bleach, and Hunter x Hunter, you will be in for a treat, as 65% of the roster is made up of these 5 series. Other series include Yu Yu Hakusho, Yu-Gi-Oh! Saint Seiya, Fist of the North Star City Hunter, Rurouni Kenshin, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. There are 9 DLC characters confirmed for an additional $30 USD, but don't expect any other Weekly Shonen Jump series to make it in. The first DLC character releases in May of 2019. While this may seem like a lot at first glance compared to other Weekly Shonen Jump crossover games such as Jump Ultimate Stars, J-Stars Victory vs. Plus, Jumpity Heroes, and Jikyo Janjan Stadium, the roster simply doesn't hold up in terms of the number of series represented. The character selection screen is pretty long as you have to scroll through each character individually, however there is a team preset which you can register characters that you intend to play frequently to. So you don't have to scroll through the select screen finding the specific character you want to play as. The combat in-game is smooth and well-refined, melding feedback from Spike's previous games, J-Stars Victory vs. Plus and One Piece Burning Blood. The gameplay is intended for casual fighting game fans, as a 3D arena 1v1 team of 3 fighter lends itself to be. It also finds a way to add an underlying amount of depth to the system, leaving the players the option to be mindful which characters they place where in their team lineup, as you can only call upon the next available character, unlike in the Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm series. The one major drawback of the battle system is the HUD. The awakening bar and the movement bar are hard to notice when you first pick up the game. It's unnecessary work the player has to put into the game when it could be easily simplified into something cleaner and more efficient. Another problem with the battle system is the implementation of stage transitions. It is unclear to first-time players how to initiate them, and even after you learn how to use them, they oftentimes leave you wide open, don't trigger properly, and do little to help you win the battle. The online netcode has been smooth for me for the couple of matches I've played online, and offers the option to play others around the same rank as you, as well as choose whether the opponent is required to have good internet connection. If you want to play friendly battles, you have the option to, but it is tedious as you have to go through the entire setup process to be able to rematch your opponent. Unfortunately, these are the only modes offered in the game at launch. There is no tournament, endless, survival, or arcade mode, which one would expect at least some of these modes to be in the base game as it is a fighting game. Regardless, the modes Jump Force does have to offer, both online and offline, are entertaining enough to come back to it from time to time, especially for playing against friends. It's unfortunate that as of right now, the game doesn't appear to have the capability of living long post-launch, with no word from Bandai about future events, and the first DLC character releasing in 3 months' time. Of course, Bandai Namco could be keeping their cards close to their chest, a business practice hardly done in the gaming industry nowadays, and surprise with bi-weekly to monthly content in between each DLC character release, but only time will tell. This game is for anime fans who have grown up watching series like Dragon Ball, Naruto, or Bleach, and want to live their fantasy of pitting their favorite childhood character against another character they love. If you are a fan of the many Weekly Shonen Jump titles, which span across the 50 years of its serialization, you may be left disappointed with the lackluster series represented. If you're a fan of 3D arena combat and don't mind a mind-numbingly tedious story mode that builds itself into something truly compelling, you'll be sure to enjoy what Jump Force has to offer. The game is clearly rushed to meet deadlines, but it is a diamond in the rough. With enough time and patches, it will be a polished product. I rate Jump Force a 7 out of 10.